6 years. It's a substantial amount of time by any measure. That's how long Nico had been in a relationship with his ex before we met. A fact that at times cast a long shadow over our present. I never doubted Nico's love for me, but the length of his previous relationship was a constant reminder of a history I hadn't shared with him. In the early days of our relationship, it was easy to get swept up in the magic of new love. Every glance, every touch seemed to hold a promise of a future together. But as time passed and the honeymoon phase began to fade, a certain unease settled in the pit of my stomach. The nagging thoughts would creep in when least expected. How could I possibly compete with someone who had been with Nico for 6 years? They must have shared countless memories, inside jokes and intimate moments that I knew nothing about. It felt like they had built a lifetime together, and here I was, just starting to walk alongside him. My mind would often paint vivid scenes of Nico promising his ex the world and forever. I'd envision them being wild in bed together, their bodies moving in perfect harmony, their eyes locked in an intimate dance. Tears would gather at the corners of my eyes, and I'd clench my fists in frustration. Why was I torturing myself with these fantasies that were nothing but illusions? Shaking my head, I tried to dispel these thoughts. They were ghosts of a past I couldn't change, a past that wasn't even mine to share. One evening, as we cuddled on the couch, my fingers traced patterns on his chest. I finally gathered the courage to voice out my concerns. "Hey, Nico." He looked down at me, his expression soft and attentive. "What's on your mind, love?" I hesitated for a moment before finally speaking. "Do you ever think about your ex? 6 years is a really long time." Nico's fingers stilled as his gaze held mine. He took my hand and brought it to his lips, placing a gentle kiss on my knuckles. "Michaela, I won't lie and say I never think about the past, but what's important is the present and the future we're building together. My relationship with you is something new and wonderful. It's different from anything I've ever had before." In the midst of the endless loop of vivid scenes involving Nico and his ex that constantly played in my mind, I found myself channeling my emotions in an unexpected direction. It was as if a newfound determination had taken root within me, one that aimed to prove to myself and to Nico that our love was stronger than any lingering ghosts from the past. I began to initiate intimate moments more frequently than we've ever done it. I would surprise Nico with affectionate gestures and tantalizing glances that hinted at my desires. My mind, plagued with jealousy, is now trying to showcase my own passion and ignite sparks that would rival any memory Nico shared with his ex. My determination extended beyond the realm of physical intimacy. I began to suggest new experiences that we could explore together, things I'd never done before, but was eager to share with Nico. I'd propose spontaneous road trips to unfamiliar places, suggest trying exotic cuisines, or even propose taking up a hobby we'd both never considered, all in my pursuit to outshine the spectre of Nico's past. As my efforts unfolded, Nico began to notice the change in me. He was always perceptive and attuned to my emotions and could sense my moments of doubt. He was patient and gentle, never growing impatient with my insecurities. Instead, he would hold me close and reassure me, his voice warm and soothing. "Michaela, I see what you've been doing." "What? Yeah, I'm loving you, like I'm supposed to do." "I want you to know that you don't have to compete with the past. Our love is its own story, and it's beautiful in its own way. I chose you for a reason, and every moment we share is a testament to that choice. Michaela, you're the one I want to be with. Our connection is unique and special. The past is just that, the past. It's you I've chosen to share my present and my future with." Despite Nico's assurances, there were moments when those doubts would grip me with an iron hold. Friends and acquaintances would make light-hearted comments teasing us about how Nico and his ex must be soulmates for staying together for so long. It was all in good fun, but those words would echo in my mind, filling me with uncertainty.
6 years? Come on, you should tell him to go back to his soulmate.
Right, that kind of history doesn't just disappear. Don't make me overthink, guys. Nico is with me now, and we're happy together.
Sure, for now. But you know, people with those long ears are bound to get back together. I'd hate to only be a stopover.
Yeah, we're just saying that be careful, okay? Don't trust anyone so easily. Unbeknown to the group, Nico had overheard our conversation from a nearby corner of the room. His brow furrowed, and he walked over to the group with a serious yet composed expression. He cleared his throat to get our attention.
Excuse me, everyone. I couldn't help but overhear your conversation, and I have to say I'm disappointed by the assumptions you're making about our relationship.
My friends and I exchanged surprised glances, their teasing demeanour quickly fading as they sensed Nico's seriousness.
Michaela and I have something special, something that goes beyond the length of my past relationship.
It's not about being bound to anyone. Michaela is not a stopover for me. She's the love of my life. Instead of speculating about our relationship, I encourage you both to spend your energy on bettering yourselves, love yourself, invest in your own growth, and then maybe you'll find the kind of love you're looking for. Instead of worrying about our relationship, focus on your own journeys. Love will find you when you're ready for it. As the evening continued, the atmosphere lightened and the group engaged in more positive conversations. I thought my doubts will finally settle, only for it to be intensified with a single text message. One day, as I sat on the couch, I felt a familiar buzz from my husband's phone. I glanced at the screen and saw a message from an unknown number. Curious. I opened it and my eyes widened as I read the message. Hey, Nico! Remember that night under the stars and we did that thing for hours? I miss your touch, and I'm sure you miss mine too. You really replaced me with that ugly thing. That's such a hilarious downgrade. Wow, Nico. Guess you have a thing for mediocrity. Nico, you'll regret leaving me. Enjoy your time with your new flavour of the month. As I read those hurtful messages, anger and hurt surged within me. Confusion flooded my mind. Who was this person who keeps texting my husband and attacking me like that? I looked up at Nico, struggling to keep my emotions in check. Nico, who's texting you with all these mushy messages? Nico looked up from his laptop, a confused expression on his face. Mushy messages? What are you talking about? Let me see. Whoever it is, they are also saying some really mean things about me. Did you know about this? Are you cheating on me? Because I swear to God, no. Of course not. Why would they say such awful things? But before I could voice my insecurities even more, Nico's fingers were flying over the screen, typing out a firm response. Whoever this is, I don't appreciate your rude messages. Leave me alone. I'm what? As he pressed the send button, his jaw clenched. He looked back at me, his eyes softening. I'm sorry you had to read those, Michaela. I have no idea who this person is or why they're saying those things. I nodded. I saw Nico's anger mirrored in my own, and I started to feel a sense of unity between us. A few moments later, another message popped up on the screen. Oh, come on, Nico. You can't pretend you don't remember me. Let me help you remember. My face flushed with jealousy after seeing a quite explicit picture of a woman. It was Nico's ex trying to seduce my husband. It's been years since they broke up, and still she's hung up on him. I don't blame her, though. Nico's the best husband anyone could ever ask for. But that doesn't mean that she's allowed to do things like this. Nico took a quick glance, and his expression turned from confusion to annoyance.
That's it. I'm blocking this number. We're long over. Why does she keep bothering us? We're happy now."
He quickly blocked the number, and we both hoped that would be the end of it. But it wasn't. Over the next few days, Isabella kept changing numbers to continue contacting Nico. Even after Nico changed his own number to get away from her, the messages and pictures kept coming. It had been 3 months of this relentless harassment, and we had had enough. We decided it was time to teach Isabella a lesson she wouldn't forget. As the messages from Isabella were coming, Nico and I hatched a plan. We decided to play along with her, pretending that Nico was receptive to her advances. We sat down together, our phones in hand, ready to respond to Isabella's messages.
"All right, let's do this. But Michaela, you're going to be the one typing the messages. That way, if things start getting out of line, or if you feel uncomfortable, you can stop it."
With a deep breath, I started typing out a reply to Isabella's latest message. "Hey, Isabella, Nico here. I have to admit, you've piqued my curiosity. What exactly do you want to help me remember?" Nico glanced over at my phone, nodding his approval. It felt odd to be typing messages pretending to be Nico and replying to his ex's messages, but we were determined to put an end to this. A few minutes later, Isabella's reply appeared on the screen. "Oh, Nico, I knew you wouldn't be able to resist my charms. Let's just say I'm offering a trip down memory lane, a very intimate one." "Okay, keep it going, Michaela. Ask her what she means by intimate." "I like where this is going, Isabella. What do you mean by intimate?" "Oh, you'll see, Nico. I'm sure you still remember your ways to my body. It's time to relive those heavenly moments. What do you say?" "I want that. How about we meet up tomorrow night? I know a cozy little hotel where we can have some privacy." "I knew you are still head over heels for me. How about your wife, Michaela? Is she going to be a problem?" "No, she doesn't have to know. This is only between you and me, just like the old times." I felt a surge of anger as I reread all our exchanges, but I knew we needed to keep up the charade. Still, I looked at Nico with a hint of sadness. "Trust me, we're going to put an end to this once and for all. I'm on your side." The following evening, Isabella arrived at the hotel, her determination evident in the meticulous way she prepared the room. With unwavering focus, she set the scene for what she hoped would be a moment of reconciliation. Soft melodies floated through the air as the gentle light cast a romantic ambience around the room. The bed itself was a masterpiece, adorned with rose petals that whispered a passion and scented candles that exuded desire. Isabella herself looked as though she had stepped out of a dream. Her hair cascaded in perfect waves, her makeup enhancing her features flawlessly. The dress she wore was an exquisite blend of allure and sophistication, revealing just enough to get anyone's attention. As she surveyed her handiwork, a confident smile tugged at her lips. She felt an eagerness bubbling within her, believing that tonight might just be the turning point she had been hoping for. Isabella lay on the bed, clothed in delicate lingerie that accentuated her every curve. She positioned herself in a provocative pose, her gaze fixed on the entrance of the room. Her heart raced with anticipation as she imagined Nico's arrival and the heated reunion that would surely follow. Minutes felt like hours as she waited. Her excitement mingled with a nervous energy. The anticipation was nauseating. Every passing second heightened her yearning. Isabella grabbed her phone to entertain herself while waiting for Nico, who is taking too long to arrive. Her finger, guided by a misguided impulse, typed out a message to me with a provocative image attached.
her message dripping with a sarcastic tease. "Can't wait for your husband." Of course, my response came swiftly. I acted confused and in disbelief. "What do you mean? What's with my husband?" "Oh, you didn't know. Nico chose me over you. He was never serious about you. All these years, he's only waiting for me to come back. Now we're going to share a very steamy night together." "I mean, what do you mean? He's sleeping beside me." I accompanied my text with a playful image, my tongue out and my middle finger raised in an exaggerated gesture of teasing. Isabella's confusion was obvious. Her mind struggled to comprehend the unfolding situation. But before she could piece together the puzzle, the sound of the door opening sliced through the air, and Isabella's heart leapt in her chest. As the figure entered the room, Isabella's smile faltered, and her confidence wavered. Her confusion turned into mortification, eyes wide with shock at the unexpected sight. Standing before her was not Nico, but an innocent young child. Isabella's heart dropped. Her cheeks burned with embarrassment as she scrambled to sit up, attempting to regain her composure and cover herself as best she could.
"Mummy, what's happening? There's a naked lady here."
Isabella's voice caught in her throat as she fumbled for words. Her attempt to seduce Nico spiraled into an awkward, uncompromising situation. Isabella's embarrassment deepened as she met the gaze of the child who had discovered her unfortunate predicament. She realized the gravity of the situation. She was in a compromising situation, exposed to a young, impressionable child. I'm sorry. I thought this was someone else's room. I must have gotten the wrong one." Before she could get out, the child's voice rang out in innocent confusion, drawing the attention of their parent. Isabella's cheeks flushed even deeper with humiliation.
"Oh my goodness, what on earth is going on here? God, please help us." I didn't mean to intrude. I'll leave."
With a red face and a sense of shame, Isabella hurriedly gathered her things and practically fled from the room, leaving the child with his mother standing there, undoubtedly baffled by the unexpected encounter. In her hurry to escape the awkward scene, Isabella didn't even have time to change out of the lingerie she had put on. The hotel corridor turned into a runway of embarrassment as she rushed out, her appearance drawing the attention of curious onlookers. Whispers and sideways glances followed her every step, amplifying her discomfort as she tried her best to keep her head down and her dignity intact. The final straw came when hotel staff approached her and informed her that she was no longer welcome in the hotel due to the disturbance she had caused. While for Nico and I, we were peacefully cuddling each other, knowing that nothing and no one could ever come between us. Talk about embarrassment, right? Come on, Isabella. Who even trusts someone who you've never talked to in years? What do you think of the story? Do you have a crazy ex that won't leave you alone? How would you get rid of them if you were in Michaela and Nico's shoes? Share your thoughts with us in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe to watch more stories like this.